Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to sit down and do a video that I believe Emily Noel started. It's called Who Did It Best? And this is going to be drugstore edition. So which brand does which category best? For example, who makes the best foundations just in general, not just one specific product, but in general, who makes the best products in a certain category? So if you'd like to hear what I think, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go in order of how I do my makeup. So let's start off with SPF. I think that Neutrogena, hands down, does it best at the drugstore. I have gone through so many of their moisturizers with SPF. This one's the Bright Boost Moisturizer with sunscreen. I'm almost out of this and I'm going to need another one soon. I just think they're really fantastic. So I like this one. I like the Age Defense one. I like their spray sunscreen. So all in all, they just make some great sunscreens. Primers, I don't really use primer often, and I had a hard time picking a brand at the drugstore that did this best. I thought about the e.l.f. Putty Primer, but I'm not a big fan of that one. I thought about the knockoffs, but I came back to Maybelline. I really enjoy their Master Blur Stick. I've enjoyed their like squeezy primers, like the blurring ones, the anti-redness ones. I feel like they dupe a lot of Smashbox's primers, and I feel like they do it well. So I would have to give that to Maybelline. Foundation was a hard category because lately I've been loving some from L'Oreal, some from Wet n Wild, some from CoverGirl, some from Maybelline, and then some high-end ones as well. But it all boiled down to who do I keep going back to time and time again? And it is CoverGirl and Maybelline. So I love the Outlast line from CoverGirl. I also like the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless line from CoverGirl. So I had to give it to them as well as Maybelline. I've loved a lot of their foundations. I like their Dream Cover one for the summer. I like this Superstay one. So I would say that it's a tie for who does it best at the drugstore between CoverGirl and Maybelline. We had another tie for concealers. I had a hard time picking because I love my CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Concealer, but it's extreme. So when I go for just like something easy, I usually reach for one of these two. So I have to say that CoverGirl does concealers really well. I mean, I like the extreme one. And I also think that e.l.f. does it really well. I reach for both of these often, and they're similar formula, similar packaging, and I just think these brands do concealers really well. CoverGirl has a lot of wins in this video for powder. Had to give it to CoverGirl. I did not used to like CoverGirl powders. They used to break me out. I used to have reactions to them back when I was in my teens. But as an adult, I'm obsessed with this one, which I think they discontinued, but I keep buying backups on eBay and Mercari. This is the Outlast powder. If you use this with their Outlast foundation, it will last all day, and I think it's beautiful. I also have been loving their CoverGirl Clean Fresh Translucent Powder, especially for under the eyes. I mean, you can see I've already put a significant dent and hit pan in it. And then their newer Outlast Extreme Wear powders. They're really, really nice powders, nice formula. So I think that they honestly have been the ones that do pressed powders the best at the drugstore. But as far as loose powders go, I would have to give it to Maybelline simply because of their Fit Me powder, which is fantastic. For brows, this was no question. It's definitely NYX. I've been using these a ton for the past year. I also love their blonde brow mascara. They just make some really, really fantastic brow products, so NYX definitely wins in this category. Blush was a tough one. Milani has some really pretty ones. Rimmel has some nice blushes. But when all is said and done, I had to give it to Physicians Formula just because I keep reaching for their blush formula over and over. This is one of their newer ones, which is simply beautiful. I just think they make a great formula of blush. For setting sprays at the drugstore, there are a lot of really, really good ones, but I have to give it to Pixi. I love the Glow Mist. I love the Milky Mist. I love just the general setting mist. Their spritzer is like one of the best at the drugstore. It's nice and fine. It doesn't drench you, so great job, Pixi. Bronzer, no question, it is L'Oreal. I love this one, which is the Lumi bronzer, and I also like the Terra bronzer in shade 3 for the summer. They both are huge pans. I think this is my third that I've run through, and I've already hit the the bottom of the pan. I don't know, it's not pan. It's like a mesh that they use to hold the product in, which is smart, so it doesn't fall out of the pan. So L'Oreal kills it with bronzers. For highlights, I think the winner is Essence. This video just got interrupted by a call from the kids' principal's office. That's always a fun call to get. Moving on. The winner for the highlight category is definitely Essence. I love this one. This is the Pure Nude highlighter, but they make like the Sunlighters, they make other shades of the highlights, and they're always smooth and creamy. There's another one that came in an advent calendar, I think 2 years ago, that I also love. It's more like a peachy pink highlight. Beautiful. So they definitely take the cake for highlights. For shadow, I have to say it's between ColourPop and Catrice. Catrice has pretty much been nailing it with all the palettes I've tried in the past year. This one in particular I think is gorgeous. The Insta Bay palette, these metallics like rival Natasha Denona quality. They're fantastic. The mattes are excellent as well. But ColourPop also has so many different color stories to pick from, and they're so affordable and they're really great quality. So I had to throw these in here too. This one's an older one. This is the Shayla and ColourPop collab Perception palette, which I think is a beautiful color story as well. I like a lot of the collabs. I like the Dream Street palette that Kathleen Lights created. I think there was like a coconuts one that I really enjoyed. So I have to say ColourPop and Catrice definitely do it best as far as eyeshadows at the drugstore. As far as glitter shadows, I'm going to give that to Milani. They make some really beautiful metallic liquid shadows. I have this one on the inner corners right now. It's beautiful. They also come out with like limited edition collection colors, which are really fun too. And I've probably had these for a few years and they're still working. They're not dried out. So really great formula. Mascara was also a two-way tie. It was down to L'Oreal and Maybelline. So L'Oreal has the Lash Paradise, which I love. They also have the Bambi one, which I love. They have the Voluminous line, which I think is really great. They've got the colored mascaras, which I also really enjoy. But then Maybelline has the Lash Sensational. It has the Total Temptation. It has the Falsies. It has the new Curl Bounce. So there are so many mascaras from both brands that I love and use frequently. I couldn't pick just one. So Maybelline and L'Oreal, I think they do mascaras best. Lip liners could have been so many brands. I like the NYX lip liners, the Maybelline liners, the L'Oreal, Wet n Wild, Essence, Rimmel. So I narrowed it down to 3. One is Kokie, but their shade selection is pretty limited, but the formula is beautiful. The next would have to be Rimmel. A little bit more shade selection, a little bit more affordable. And Wet n Wild, which only has like 5 shades, but still they're super creamy. They just glide on, they last a long time. So I would say that these 3 are probably your most affordable formulas at the drugstore. But like I said, there are so many others that I really like. Maybelline, but Maybelline dries out so fast. So I couldn't give it to them even though they have a ton of shades. Yeah, I'll go with these 3. And finally, we have lipsticks, and I just did a lipstick declutter, and unfortunately I got rid of all of my Maybelline lipsticks because they were all expired. But Maybelline does the lip game best. Between the lip crayons, the lip inks, the lip glosses, the lipsticks, I have to say that they do lip products, not liners, best. And that's it for who did it best at the drugstore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.